Like, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I want to be friends with that sort. Imagine having two sicknesses together plus COVID. It's a feast to behold. Yep. I was kind of hoping that I would get better soon and record this when I was feeling better, but clearly the sickness is not going away. And this is going to be the first non-scripted video I'm doing on this channel, because even though talking about books comes so easy to me, I literally lose my mind when I'm talking in front of a camera. I just wanted to do something after such a long time, and apparently making videos for a channel that is not even monetized make me feel productive. So here we are to talk about all the monster romance books I read while suffering from COVID. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. I'd say the title is pretty self-explanatory. It's about... I just realized that I've forgotten the name of the protagonist. COVID brain. Brain cells have been lost, set in a realm with 2 continents, where the humans have been protected by the goddess from the demons that live in an upper continent for ages. The main character, Cinnamon, or as people like to call her, Sin, wants to live a simple life, one that does not include any kind of adventure, which is why she's happy when she's not chosen by the goddess as a new tribute to go and help fight off the demons that have crossed the border. Super drunk, she's returning home when she accidentally saves a demon. If I was to review this book without spoiling anything about the incidents within it, I would say imagine a whole complete adventure with all 3 acts that normal authors would take like 8 books to write, all wrapped up inside one book and done well. It's short, fluffy as hell, but the strongest point would be, imagine me only being able to lie on the bed while suffering from cramps, and then starting this book where every single page would shake me with laughter. I blame Veronica on Bookstagram. The sense of humor was the boldest point throughout the entire book. I would say that with the first book of this series, the beginning was really well. Maybe this, like the 2nd or 3rd chapter went a little bit down, but then it went up again. So don't judge it too quickly and just enjoy. It will cure depression and help you with your cramps, even though it might not seem like that at first. Gorgeous. Next, I read Mythological, which is the 2nd book in the Meet Mishaps series. This one takes place after what happens in the 1st book, which is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon. And again, it's a short adventure which is fluffy, sexy as hell, and I could not believe this, but the element of humor got even better. Like, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I want to be friends with that sort. Up next, I read something by a different author, Found by the Lake Monster by Lillian Lark. This is from the Love Bath House series, which has become one of my faves in the monster romance criteria. I really love the kind of procedure all these stories take. They're not like unpredictable, but they're insanely soothing and healing, and the monsters are fluffy as hell. This one was actually marked as a novella between the 1st book and the 2nd book. It's not related at all to any of them. There is only a little bit of mention of Rose, who was the protagonist of the 1st book, who is also the matchmaker in this world. So it doesn't hurt if you don't know her story, but you would be doing yourself a favor if you read that 1st book. But again, the story is about Amy. I know this one. The story is about a girl named Amy who's doing a part-time job for a kind of organization that is looking for real life monsters. So imagine her spending her holiday night in the dark, in the forest, looking for a monster that has been seen by a few. The atmosphere scares her, she loses her light, but before she really freaks out, a local person finds her. But just as she sees him in the light, she realizes that she has found what she had come to the forest for, or have been found by it. Again, the exact same things you could expect from any other love bathhouse novel from Lillian Lark. Sweet, fluffy, sexy. What I did realize in this one, to compare with the previous one, was that I kind of feel like the further we go through this series, Lillian Lark writes truer to herself. I kind of feel like maybe in the first few books she was kind of pulling herself back, especially because in the dedication part she mentioned that she almost didn't publish Stalked by the Kraken, which would have been devastating. Also, something Lillian Lark always does that I really appreciate is the fact that she does have a proper trigger warning at the beginning of each one of her novels. It's really valuable and it's really important. And it's something that mostly only indie authors try to do. And in traditional publishing houses just avoid it altogether, which is why sometimes you open a book and get into the story and there are literal graphic rape scenes. And it's supposed to be okay. To wrap this one up, I really love the stories that Lillian Lark tells, but I also really like that this one was really short and to the point. I mean, not just in that way because I was sick and not really thinking in that way, but you get the point. That time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf. I was actually pretty happy when I started this one because, you know, I was kind of upset that, like, is every single book in this series going to be standalone, like, completely different characters? I personally find it a little bit harder to get to know new characters every single time, which is why, despite the fact that it's probably going to be a long, torturous time, I prefer series. This one showed that, yes, each part would probably be a standalone, but there are the characters we're familiar with. I'd say I like the novella in this one more than the first book. The protagonist of this one is Bry, Cinnamon's friend, and also the first werewolf we got to know in the first book. I clearly don't remember the names. Why? I mostly do not like to go deeper into the storyline when I'm reviewing stuff because I personally don't like that, but generally the same thing. A whole ass adventure, short, sweet, fluffy as hell, spicy. I really like the spice in this one. Also, my favorite element from the second book was present in here, which was I really liked everything in this one, and I was devastated when it finished because it meant, like, I don't know, waiting for however long until the author writes the next book. Like, I would still blame Veronica for the devastation because I can. I fell into the rabbit hole of something really wonderful. It's a series called The Wraith King. I had seen Radiance a few times on the feeds of some of the bookstagrammers I follow, and I don't know why, but somehow I thought it was new. So, like, imagine me having finished the first book and feel like, now I have to wait for I don't know how long to get the next book. And then I looked it up and I realized, holy shit, the whole series is done. Okay, Radiance, the first book in the series. I went in not knowing anything, just like I like it. When I know that I'm gonna enjoy something, I have been told that I would, like, you jump in. And you get to know this human girl named Ildiko, who is about to be married to a prince from a completely different race. And the problem is, these two folks are so different in appearances that they find each other hideous. She goes to venture in the garden for the last time before she's married off. And there she accidentally meets one of these people who is dressed so casually that she has no idea that he's the same person she's going to marry. They struck up a conversation that is pretty honest and makes them connect on spot, and their honest communication resumes throughout the whole book. When it starts, you know it's going to be sweet. It's so adorable how they overcome their differences, how they get to know each other. I also low-key loved that it was not weirdly sexualized, because that's kind of a trend. I loved it. I loved it so much. It's a whole-ass fantasy with its own world building. Nothing is done too much. The world building is just the right amount. It will not sicken you. It will not bore you. You will love this book so, but you come here for a love story, but it happens to be so much more. And it ends on a really intense cliffhanger. I would say something you need to be aware is that despite the fact that it's fluffy, it also turns pretty dark at some points. Different points actually, but especially to the end. And also a trigger warning would have been needed about a really, really short line, but which was a description of infanticide. After this one comes the novella Night Tide. As I said before, I find it a little hard to get to know new characters, but once I do, I really, really want to stick to them. The characters of the Night Tide were all human, and were not directly connected to the characters of the Radiance, but their story too was really, really well written. This is a new favorite author, I swear. Night Tide is about an incident that happens after what occurs at the end of Radiance, which is something that these people are not aware of yet, but the supernatural power is affecting their lives. But apart from the horror and not all the adrenaline, what would make you really stuck in the story would be the complex characters. Also, I don't know how the author does this, but you instantly love the chemistry between the characters, even if it's through the really, really brief moments. And that's been all the stuff that I've read lately. I have started reading the sequel to Radiance, Eidolon. These names are so weird. Maybe I would review the whole series later on, but whatever, just my vocal cords are tired. I am tired. Take care of yourself, please, and also wear those damn masks. Yep. And also, if you happen to know a fantasy author who has a really great sense of humor, please do it. Or literally any other good fill books, please recommend them, please. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this episode on Shahrzad Stories. I'm Shahrzad. Happy reading! I would never force you to read these books, but you would be doing yourself a favor. Until next time.